Iron Fist over here.
I was going for like Daredevil.
Oh.
So close, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Seemed to.
Yeah. I'm like the Copper Fist.
You're the Stone Fist.
What's good, everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to another edition of Ringside. I'm John.
And I'm Kendra.
Just in case it wasn't clear, but now you're here. And we're going to talk about a lot of things, including the man with no fear.
Who's that?
Daredevil.
I don't know his monikers. I'm so sorry. I actually don't know a lot. Unless it was shown to me seasons 1 through 3 of the Netflix show, I don't know anything about Daredevil.
That's a pretty good place to be, though.
Yeah, it's like I'm not unfamiliar, but I'm learning new things every day. And you know what it means to learn new things every day? It means you're progressing as a person.
As a human.
You're getting better and better and not decaying.
Yeah. And I think people should if you take nothing else away from this podcast, take that. Not that hey, listen, we don't get political here.
I was trying to make a joke.
But
always be learning.
If you're always learning, you're never burning. All right, let's get into this, shall we?
Okay.
So I know we're talking a little bit about Daredevil, and I guess this is kind of a good way of going right into it. Mm-hmm. But one door closes and another door opens. Wait, what?
That's not the quote.
What was it you said?
Is God closes a door and opens a window. I'm not crazy. John's acting like I made that up. That's like a real quote, right?
You are crazy.
I've heard that before.
I don't doubt that. But why would he open a window? Or they open a window?
Because, okay, maybe the room that you were in was a bedroom. There's no second door to open unless he opened the same door. That's not the point of the message. The message is
one door closes as another door opens.
And also maybe sometimes it's not a second door opening, maybe it's a window. So don't expect for a door to open. Keep your options open. It might be a window. It might be
so what? Look at a different opportunity. At least another door opening means that you can go into a different opportunity.
I can shove myself through a window if it's bigger than a certain size.
Anyway, real quick, a few episodes ago we did touch on the season premiere of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Since that episode, we have gotten the full season, and I'm happy to say two things. One, what's that? Hudson Thames. Mm-hmm. Shut the fuck up during the entire show's run.
Good.
So in case he did think some fuck shit, we don't really know. He at least shut up.
Yeah.
So at least there's that. And, I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt. I think he just had a really horrible foot in the mouth moment, because the show checks off a lot of boxes of what morons would consider woke.
Yeah.
All that to say, the second thing I'm really happy to report, I ended up liking the show.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
I think it was kind of a slow beginning. And even after the context of having the full season, even the last episode, which is like one of those, okay, what's happening here makes what happened back then make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Even with that, I still think the first two episodes were kind of a slow start. And I do think for the most part, Hudson Thames was doing a Tom Holland impression.
And it was the moments that he wasn't
that were the best.
Yeah. It made it feel more like, oh, I can buy into this Spider-Man.
It's like this is a separate, unique Spider-Man to all the other goddamn all the Peter Parkers that we've gotten. Like, there were certain times where it did peek through, and I think some of that might have also been like chemistry of working with the same actors over a longer period of time, maybe making it a little bit more comfortable. I think what I mentioned in our initial reaction of the first two episodes was that it needed more comedy. It needed more not improv per se, but moments that felt organically funny. I feel like that was missing it for me in the first few episodes. And I think there were some moments that stood out a little bit more. But for season 2, I request more funnies, more humor, more jokes, more palling around with the other characters. I think that would do it well. I
agree. I think that's also what makes the MCU Spider-Man stick out from all the others, is that they were essentially, teen comedies. At least that was baked into the DNA of it. Maybe not the third one, but but definitely like Homecoming and Far From Home, like that was a huge part of it. Those movies are hilarious. So yeah, and even though I don't necessarily want a, you know, carbon copy or just a Tom Holland impression for, you know, 3 seasons, I think that is something you can hold on to and still make your own. But all that to say, yeah, I definitely think the story, the animation, the fighting, it was all so very good. And I do think that the first 2 episodes benefit from the season finale, but as just a standalone season opener, I mean, it's your run of the mill, slow, you know, they've got to introduce a lot in the 2 episodes. So I agree. I think those were a bit of a slow burn, but overall, I really like the show.
He's getting better about holding on to those really.
I know, but I'm trying to. If that's my.
This is your ranking system.
Yeah, if that's my ranking system, I got to make sure.
You really liked it. You really liked it.
Yeah. But I did really enjoy it. Okay. I will say that. It made me excited for season 2.
Yeah, I mean, it set up a lot of stuff. Mostly in those last 2 episodes. It's very clear, like, they knew they were going to get a season 2 before, which I think benefits the story, obviously, because you can set up these things and know that you have time to wrap them up later. But I do think, as rocky of a start as it had, I do think it's worth your time to watch. They were quick episodes. They were, what, 10?
I think there's between 10 and 12, something like that.
Something like that, but they're half an hour.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. And again, the performances of everyone, because there's a lot of people in that show. And everyone's performances were really cool, and I'm excited to see all of the payoff from everything they set up from season 1.
I agree. Last thing I want to say, the supporting cast, I think, really makes the show feel alive. Like, yeah. I really love all the extra characters in here. Everyone surrounding Peter, I think, is what makes the show shine through, which makes perfect sense for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The neighborhood is what makes Spider-Man. So anyway, I think they nailed it on that one. So yeah, I agree. Check it out. We got a couple episodes that featured what we're going to talk about next, the return of Charlie. You like how I did that?
Yeah.
Charlie Cox as Daredevil. It was a perfect lead-in from seeing that series to a much darker, a much grittier sort of requel series.
Yeah.
With Daredevil Born Again. We got a 2-episode drop on Disney Plus.
Are we doing spoilers?
We can. Let's do a quick, just a spoiler-free impression, and then we can talk spoilers.
Okay.
Because I feel like you really want to talk spoilers.
It's like I
Kendra,
do.
Okay, go ahead.
It's like I do, but I don't want to ruin it for anyone. Although the internet probably already ruined it for you. But to see the first 5 minutes of the first episode, really, man, it was really impactful.
Oh, is that?
That's my spoiler free.
I'll say the first 10 minutes of the first episode of this part reboot, part sequel series is, in a short phrase, fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. The first 10 minutes in, we were just kind of looking at each other and looking at the TV like
in disbelief.
Oh my God,
and I don't believe it. We're
going right out the gate. Now there is some interesting news. We'll talk about that in the spoiler part of it. Okay. That I think, we'll see where it goes. But overall impression of the first 2 episodes, I really enjoy the direction we're going in. Mm-hmm. I can appreciate just the absolute acknowledgement of what's come before, but really driving home that this is a new story to tell. And in that new story, we get these colors and these memories of what can't be let go, no matter how hard we try. I think that's such an interesting theme of, like, can we really change who we are? Mm. And the more, after we watched it and talked about it a little bit after, I don't know, the next few days after, I just kept thinking about, like, I think that's such an interesting story for Daredevil, because it's more than just, like, essentially, I hate to use this comparison, but like a Batman story where someone's just, being dark and brooding just for being dark and brooding.
Right.
I like to see them trying to move beyond something, but but they just can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that. I think there's a lot of interesting story to tell there.
Listen.
You didn't like it.
It's not that I didn't like it. Oh my gosh, sorry. There's a little kid, and he's very clearly on his way to the pool with a plate of snacks, and I love that. It's fucking summer. It's not that I didn't like it. Keep in mind, again, first 2 episodes. I ate my words with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man for the most part. It's hard to grasp the whole vibe from the first 2 episodes, and I knew it was going to feel different than the Netflix shows because obviously it's been like, I believe 37 years since those ended. At least that's what it feels like. But it almost to me feels too different. Don't shoot. I feel like the biggest change for me is like technical, like the composition of the shots, the cinematography, that feels the most different to me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool how they did that. And other times I'm like, this isn't, it just kind of takes you out.
Yeah. No,
it's not Daredevil. It's not the vibe.
I don't want to say, I wouldn't personally go as far as to say it's not Daredevil, but I do get what you mean because it's almost like an aesthetic thing. It like sort of matches what we've seen from Marvel TV. So we're no experts, but it could be something as simple as like the type of cameras they use for Disney Plus versus what they use for Netflix. It could be as simple as that. What I will agree with you on in this particular matter is I do think that there was something so like, again, this word is overused when it comes to talking about these shows, but it's the only one I can think of right now. There's something a little more gritty and grounded about the aesthetic of the original Netflix series versus, and again, these are only 2 episodes, and a lot of the show is in the daytime because it has to be, right? So there are some, I do think in that respect, I agree that it's a little jarring, but there are things that they do that I like on a technical standpoint. Like I loved the way that first episode showed Matt's senses working and just like the camera work of it, like going bouncing back and forth, hearing the heartbeats. I don't know. I thought that was really, really cool.
I agree. I think that is a big step up from what we got in the Netflix show, which is just kind of more like being told what he's hearing instead of like actually getting to hear what it hears like. Damn. Yeah. Hear what it sounds like. Yeah. I do enjoy that. Is it a spoiler if I talk about just the first fight scene?
I say let's so overall just finish your thoughts on just maybe a spoiler free if you can.
Yeah.
Like just what did you think of the first 2 episodes? Is there anything is there anything you didn't like? Is there anything you did like?
I kind of already said what I didn't like. It's just like for me right now the vibe is off. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I do like it. I mean, Charlie Cox is so integral. Important. To Matt Murdock as we know him in the MCU. That when him being back at all makes me like Daredevil's back. Like seeing him and my dad, Vincent D'Onofrio, across from each other talking in that diner, I'm like, Daredevil's back.
That was such a great scene. I love that scene.
I love just seeing them all back and being able, again, because it felt like we were so suddenly cut off from that world, that I'm happy to be back in it. I do think a lot of what I had issues with in the first 2 episodes were things that I am led to believe were reshoots, which makes me think maybe the rest of the season is a little bit more intentional and worked through. So I think that I'm not going to hold the issues I had with the first 2 episodes against the rest of the season, just because I feel like it'd be, if they were like, okay, well, this looks weird because we filmed it way after the fact and then didn't have as much time. Right. So I would believe that.
Right.
So I'm not going to let that influence
Yeah. Nor should anyone.
But yeah, I'm still like, I'm excited to watch every episode that comes out. I'm so grateful that they even like thought to bring it back after it was canceled. And I really, really hope we see Jessica Jones. Holding out for Jessica.
And we'll get to that. All right. So we are going spoilers for the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. If you have not watched Daredevil Born Again, maybe skip a little bit,
like 10
or
minutes.
Press pause, go watch it, and come back.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to go anywhere, but we are going to talk spoilers. So Here's your spoiler warning.
What the fuck? So, okay, spoiler alert. What the fuck? Well, here's the thing. Okay.
I have a question. What the fuck?
When Foggy was shot dead in the street, my first initial thought was like, I'm going to turn this off. I don't want to watch this, actually. I knew that the first version of this Daredevil, this Daredevil reboot new season was going to be something else entirely. And then they did reshoots. They did an overhaul of the show. They did an overhaul, and they brought these characters back. Silly me. I thought they were going to be here the whole season. And maybe they are. We don't know.
We don't know yet.
But seeing, like, and it's not even that you saw Foggy get shot and die. You heard his heartbeats slow and then end. That is fucking crazy. But you know what? Charlie Cox, in agony over his BFF's death. Beautiful acting, beautiful performance. And yeah, I would have thrown that cock off the roof too. I would have snapped his neck.
So let's just go into this first oneer of the series. I will say overall, I did really, really enjoy that moment. However, let me retract one of the reallys because I would have really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, with the exception of, I just think it was a bizarre choice and maybe the costumes were too dark and they had to brighten them, but some of the fighting between these two like badass hand-to-hand combat dudes, it looked a little cartoony.
Because they were fucking digi doubles. They were CGI.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That pisses me off.
And it's just, it was a choice to do that because I'm sure at some point real people did that combat. It could have been those 2 actors, and with a combination of those 2 actors and the stunt performers really doing all that. I mean, there was that scene in Echo. I mean, there's a ton of hand-to-hand combat in Echo, and there's one specific one with Daredevil.
Yeah.
That it was just a little weird that they chose to digitize it that much. I'm gonna guess, and again, I'm not an expert, I'm gonna guess that it had to do with the fact that Bullseye's costume was dark black and blue and Daredevil's is this darker red, and they had to just like turn the brightness up a little bit. But
Jonathan, I would love if that was the case. Here's what
you don't know.
I don't know. You don't know. Here's what I believe, though. It was cheaper for them to do it in CG, so that's what they did.
It's not, though. What do you mean? You
don't think it's cheaper to do it after the fact than to... Here's the thing with...
What do you mean cheaper? I don't know what you mean by that.
Cost less money.
I know that, but...
Then to have 2 stunt doubles and a whole stunt production team try to figure out how to do an actual one shot like they did in the Netflix Daredevil. I think that takes way more time and way more effort. They have to pre-visit all to get it to sync and cut correctly. They have to have so many like people involved because
they'd have to do that if it was digital too, though. Because they'd have to track to the same extent. They'd have to track the camera, and they had very real people in the shot anyway.
Yeah, but no, I can't. Because here's the thing: it looked bad. So if it was cheaper for them to do it more practically, they would have just done that. Because it looks bad. And I know you said like, oh, it looks a little wonky. It looks bad. It looks like video game cutscene. I said that. As we were watching, I said, this is a fucking PS4 cutscene action sequence. I do think that some things were kind of interesting, like when when we pulled back the camera and they closed the doors and we saw them through the screen fighting. Sure, okay, that's cool. But like...
I don't know. I liked seeing them go up like the stairs and stuff. I really think the worst of it was in the bar. I think that's the worst of it. Everything else, to me, I thought it looked fine. I thought it was cool. I liked how it transitioned into like this drone shot off the building when they're still fighting.
But also part of me thinks that that's why it feels less grounded and gritty, because the camera's not in reality. We're floating. And there have been a couple shots where we're floating as the camera. And I mean, maybe they did that in the Netflix show and I'm just talking on my ass, but it always felt like I'm like off to the side watching this fight happen.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not to say that I think this holds a candle. I don't think this is going to be I don't think that's our official hallway scene. I saw the directors talk about that moment somewhere, and they had some name for it, and something of Fates. I can't, Duel of the Fates. No, I can't remember exactly, but I don't know. I like the moments personally, and I think it made it more powerful that when we hear Foggy die, like, I mean, this at one point Daredevil's just got like more than half a dozen knives just sticking out of his chest. Like, holy shit, dude.
He's fine.
But yeah, like, it was such a moment. Like, at first he's just fighting to like keep him down, and then when he stops fighting is when he throws him off the roof.
Yeah.
Because he could.
And he still didn't even fucking kill him.
Well, that's just because Poindexter's a freak of nature. So you're definitely not alone in that. I've definitely seen people talk about the moments. And I mean, you might be right, especially if bringing Bullseye and all these other people back were part of the overhaul and the reshoots. Yeah, I mean,
right? Wouldn't that make sense? It's like, this is the last thing we filmed, but the day it comes out hasn't moved, so you need to. Right.
Yeah. So I could see that. But I think again, for me, even with acknowledging the parts that don't look very good, there are some cool things I think they do in there. I think the moment paid off emotionally by the end of it for me, because you don't see those moments in superhero movies, or even in Spider-Man No Way Home. We hear about how Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was like, I stopped pulling my punches. We hear about it. We can imagine what that's like.
Yeah.
We don't ever see these characters cross that line. Even in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, we almost see it, but we don't see these characters cross that line. And this,
we saw him break,
and
not
it wasn't
Matt. And
it was just like.
It was so quick.
It was so quick. And I think that's what makes it even more like...
He didn't even hesitate.
Jarring. He just threw him off. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think... Yes.
I agree.
And I do think as shitty as it is to, on the surface, be like, they brought these actors back just for that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're done with them. Actually... what's his name? The guy who plays Foggy, Eldon Hill?
Ooh, I don't know. I only knew his first name.
Foggy Nelson. I wrote Figgy. Eldon Henson. I was close. Eldon Henson. I don't know what this means going forward. But I did see that Deborah Ann Woll and Eldon Henson are signed on for Daredevil Born Again Season 2.
Right, it's like, could that be flashbacks? Could that be...
Probably, but I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Somebody saw, I think the bar that they were at, or the address that Foggy was holding that person, like making them safe, his safe house. I think it's just his apartment. Something about the numbers correlate to a comic book edition where Foggy Nelson fakes his death.
Oh.
And here's the thing. Part of me is like, okay,
no way.
They were just talking about how they're like hiding this guy away, right?
Right.
Like, is it so crazy that Matt would do the same thing? Like, Matt and Karen would hide Foggy? I don't know. That also might just be me and people on the internet in denial because someone's like, we didn't see a funeral. We didn't see his body. Sure. We heard his heart stop beating, and then we saw the little like in memoriam piece of paper that Matt a year later is still carrying with him, which is fucking devastating.
Yeah, that was his boy, Abogados at law.
I know. So I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll definitely see him back, but we don't know in in what regard.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he's sticking around.
This was peak Foggy hair and facial hair. And what, he dies 10 minutes in? It simply can't be the end.
No. Yeah, so, but I will say, story-wise, for this new emotional journey that Matt's on,
it makes sense.
It's kind of perfect.
Yeah.
It's kind of perfect because, like, you know, Matt sold his soul to God a long time ago. Sold his soul to justice. But, like, Foggy really is, like, the heart of, you know, Murdoch, Nelson, and Paige.
Yeah.
Right? So he was the glue that kind of kept everyone together. Even in the original series. Like, he was the one that kept everyone from losing their fucking minds. So when you take that away, like, oh, man, how that would mess with Matt. But I love the story of him giving that up because he knows, like, you know, as a lapsed man of God, because he tried to kill someone.
Yeah.
He knew that I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Without that, I've become this monster, and I'm scared of what I'll do.
Yeah.
I've basically become the Punisher, like, at that point.
Essentially. But everyone loves the Punisher.
Do they?
Well,
you know who loves the Punisher? Karen Page.
well, that's true.
And she may not want us to believe it,
But we know the
it.
truth.
We know it. But
Karen Page was in fucking Sacramento or whatever.
And who knows where
I
the
moved to
Punisher
Sacramento somehow.
is. You know who else is out there? I think She-Hulk.
Yeah, she is on the West Coast, isn't
Yeah.
she? With fucking nobody else. No one lives out
So
there.
Matt Murdock's like, I could go back to California.
Yeah, he's like, I
could use
know
another
someone
trip.
out there, actually.
So anyway, yeah, I love the story of Matt kind of taking this year to, like, pick himself up, kind of revamp himself as a lawyer, start this new successful practice.
Well, that was the plan.
That was the fun.
And then some shit went down.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was an impactful moment. It was devastating and even somewhat annoying for fans, but I do think it works really, really well for Matt's story in this arc.
I agree, which makes me think, like, what was the plan before the overhaul?
Foggy died somehow.
Foggy died somehow. I don't know. And I mean, like, Karen was right there. Whatever.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was also, listen, not all of us are Vanessa Fisk stans, but some of us are.
It's good to see her back. And I love this, like,
looking good as ever. Woo!
I love this thing where she was like, I was, like, actually kind of fine when you were off being shot by Echo and shit. Like, I actually did pretty well for myself.
The business is doing better than ever.
Yeah, the business is doing better. Actually, it's like almost like you fucking suck and you're bad as a kingpin. Sorry, right. New kingpin in town. But I love the fact that they're going to couples therapy. I think that's so funny. Because, like, I don't know if that's going to work.
Listen, this show has everything, okay? It's got Matt Murdock. It's got Wilson Fisk. It's got baddies for days. That therapist.
It does have baddies for days.
Vanessa. Karen's there, I guess.
Yeah, well, maybe she'll come back. I do think the fact that she's, like, so far away, but it's like she's not dead, so right. She could come back.
A big part of this particular series, at least this season, is that Wilson Fisk is not only back, but as it was teased at the end of Echo, a show everyone should watch, he is back in a new scary way. He is back as the mayor of New York City. Oh, man. This show captures the absolute dread of someone you know should not be in this position of power, being in this position of power.
Not even being in it, being elected into it by the people. And looking around being like, what the fuck are you guys all doing? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. It was a little, not to sound, whatever. It was a little triggering at points to just hear them, like, especially how Matt was experiencing it.
Yeah.
Just being like, these people have no idea how bad this could be.
Well, here's the other thing. It was that, but also, like, these people know exactly the type of person this is. They just don't care.
Right.
That, I think, more than anything was like, and we also get the, God, what's his name? Something the reporter that Karen got murdered.
BB Urich.
Yeah.
Ben Urich.
Ben Urich's niece.
Yeah.
I kind of like what they were doing with, like, having her do, like, man on the street interviews.
I feel like part of that, and I agree, I love what they do with it. I think that might have been a cool little sneaky way of doing some extra reshoots and getting some like connecting it to the original series. Because I don't know if Disney Plus would have without fan pushback and just creative pushback acknowledge the fact that Wilson Fisk decapitated a man with a fucking car door.
Yeah, it was just like we never brought that up
so
again.
The way they were like, yeah, I heard he crushed the guy's head with a door.
It was awesome.
Yeah, they're like, that's a cool rumor.
Okay.
What the fuck?
But yeah, it was cool to see, like, what do people on the outside of this whole fucking thing think? Because we spend so much time with the people who are in it and who are knowledgeable about everything. What's the vibe from, like, these? It's kind of like, wasn't there going to be a series kind of like The Office, which is like the Department of Damage Control or something? It's kind of like that. It's like, what do the NPCs of the MCU think about what's going on in their neighborhood? And I appreciate that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I agree. But Wilson Fisk, Vincent D'Onofrio, Vinny D looks just like Kendra's dad, only white.
Okay, so my dad's black. So there is that. But there's one part when they're talking in the diner and Vincent D'Onofrio is backlit, so he looks darker than he is. And I said, holy shit, that's my fucking dad.
He could be a stand-in for him.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, he hasn't skipped a beat as Wilson Fisk. You can absolutely see. I don't know. I'm so happy that all of them are back.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it's really cool how he and Daredevil have very similar stories, whereas, you know, he's really apparently trying to change his image and change how he does things, do good, right? Mm-hmm. But again, the theme kind of here is can they change the nature of who they are?
No,
and I don't think either of them can. And it comes to a head in episode 2, where we have two very different but also very familiar moments where Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, Mayor Fisk, blackmails the police commissioner by saying, hey, I got this fucking Philly cheesesteak because they're delicious, but I like it from this place, and shows him a photo of his secret kid.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Matt Murdock's begging these cops, hey, you don't want to fucking fight me.
Please don't make
proceeds
me fucking
to maybe kill one of them.
Yeah, did we ever get confirmation if that guy survived?
We don't know.
I heard a crack, but I'm sure he's fine.
Maybe that was the wooden floor.
Maybe that was the wooden floor.
But he fucked him up. This show is brutal. It's setting up a lot going forward. So I do think that the next few episodes that we get, we're really going to start getting into
the nitty
gritty of it all. Yeah. Because I think at this point, the devil of Hell's Kitchen is coming back. And it's setting up a lot of cool things. I hope. I don't entirely hate the courtroom side of it. I did like that from the original series as well.
Yeah.
Just because it gives us it really shows us the two different sides of justice, according to Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
So that's who he is. I'm excited to see more of it. He doesn't step foot in a church. He just listens from the outside. I also think that's heartbreaking.
He's not allowed in there anymore.
He's not allowing him. Hey, listen, the big guy upstairs died for your sins. You're allowed in there, okay?
Wait.
He's just keeping himself out.
Okay.
Yeah.
The big guy is Jesus?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus is not God. God's son.
He's the son of God, representing God.
Jesus died for our sins.
Yeah.
God didn't.
No. He sent his only son to die for our sins. Huh? Yeah.
He said, damn, no, you do it.
I'm good. You go.
Okay.
He said, okay.
Oh, okay. And then he did it.
Anyway, so very excited that this is back. I appreciate the overhaul. I'm very interested to see how the story progresses. We know we're getting a season 2 already. Mm-hmm. We know we're getting a Punisher special presentation. So, and hopefully, I'm gonna go on a limb. I think we're getting some Defenders. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know where. I think we're getting some Defenders.
I think we'll get at least one, if not maybe a mention.
Yeah.
Maybe a mention of one.
But we'll see. I don't want to speak too far out just yet.
What if they're like, we're bringing back Danny Rand. As long as it's not Danny Rand. If it's Danny Rand and someone else, okay. If it's just Dandy, no, take him back. I don't want him.
We need that Colleen Wing.
If it's Colleen, hang one, because you know what? At least she did
pretty
stuff.
Fine. Oh,
what? She, I feel like, was more competent.
I agree.
In every metric.
She was in Glass Onion.
Oh my God, that was her.
Yeah.
Short hair. Didn't
short
recognize
hair.
her.
Anyway, let us know what you guys think of. Was that all you had to say?
That's all I have for now. Ta-ta for now. Isn't that what Tigger says or something? What does Tigger say?
From Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He doesn't say ta-ta for now?
I know Ta-Ta Turtle Man from Jingle All the Way.
Oh my fucking God. John, if you don't stop bringing up fucking Jingle All the Way, holy shit.
I can't. It's who I am. It's everything to me.
Oh my God. I
Sorry.
don't know.
Anyway, so before we go on to our next thing,
Okay.
I want to try something a little different here. I want to play a little game.
Oh, it is Tigger. Fuck you.
Oh. I want to play a little game.
Okay.
So I went to, I took to social media because I had this idea. I asked everyone, which WWE superstars would they cast in the MCU? Mm-hmm. I actually had this idea when we were watching Daredevil because I was like, who could I see in here? And I had a couple ideas, but then it just kind of kept growing and growing. So I wanted to hear from the people. And we got some interesting casting choices. Now, should I start with mine or should I start with TikTok? The people of TikTok.
Ooh. These are all the TikTok ones?
Yes.
Oh. Maybe let's do TikTok first.
Okay. So right out the gate, the most popular pick.
Which is like.
It makes perfect sense. Jade Cargill as Storm from the X-Men.
Because because that's what she's doing now.
That's kind of her whole thing. I mean, it's literally a storm is coming.
Yeah.
She's got the white hair.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. But to me, that one's a little too obvious.
Too obvious. So we did get some other interesting ones. You can feel free to stop me whenever you feel.
I will stop you right now.
Okay.
What's a more interest? Do you have one for Jade? Did you cast Jade in a different role?
I have not.
I could see Jade as what is the name of the warrior from Wakanda? The main one of the ladies.
Of the Dora Milaje.
Yes. What was her name?
Io? Not Io. That's a different one.
Io Debris.
No. Io's the one that.
Michaela. Dora.
Michaela's definitely not one of them.
No, that's not her name. That's the actor. Okoye. I feel like I could see her as an Okoye because she's built like a fucking brick house.
Definitely a Dora Milaje for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
The only one permitted to wear wigs.
Interesting.
They're too good. We can't let her not wear wigs.
Now, this one I think is actually really good. CM Punk as Wolverine. Now, typically, I'd want someone Canadian playing Wolverine.
Right. But
however,
a Canadian hasn't played Wolverine for the last goddamn 45 years.
However, Wolverine's whole thing is I'm the best in the world at what I do, but what I do isn't so nice. Something like that. CM Punk, best in the world, fighting the system. I don't know. I don't think it's awful.
I don't think that's off base.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes sense.
Actually,
and I like it. Yeah.
I could
there
also.
There are parts of it I liked. It was good. It was great.
If we wanted to cast just by like appearance, I could also see like a Chad Gable. He's short and stout. I don't even think he's that short, but like.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, here's one for the.
Okay, this is another one that's like, yeah.
It's really obvious, but it's really good. Recasting M'Baku from the Black Panther franchise. Taking out Winston Duke. Love you, guy. Putting in Obafemi.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Obafemi a face or a heel right now?
Yes.
Obafemi face M'Baku.
He was kind of a heel at the beginning of the first one.
Okay, but like not really.
He was a little bit.
Not really.
He wanted to fucking take out T'Challa and become the Black Panther.
And he did it. He tried to do it via the law in a way that respects his culture.
They eat people.
What?
No, they're vegetarians.
They're vegetarian. Yeah. I mean, that
you
one's
bald-headed demon.
That one's really good. And like another good option.
You need here's the thing. You have M'Theku. You got that thick boy, Winston Duke. You can't replace him with some scrawny bitch. You got to have a thick boy in there.
I don't know a lot about what's the name of the character that Aaron Taylor Johnson just played that no one went and saw?
Craven.
Would Obafemi as Craven?
Ooh. Oh, I don't hate that.
I'm going off of like I feel like I've seen Kraven the Hunter in the Spider-Man video games, and he's just like big.
So here's the thing. Okay, I am gonna interject one of my own personal picks.
Okay.
So I actually did cast Kraven.
Oh.
I put Drew McIntyre as Kraven.
That's a good one too.
Which I will stand by. But also I really like Obafemi as Kraven the Hunter. That's kind of badass.
I can see it.
He's the fucking ruler. Like that's
I can see
Oh man, that's
Thanks.
I like that.
See, this is what happens when you don't come prepared, because I forgot that you asked me to think of this, and then I didn't think of them, and I'm coming up with them on the spot.
Man, I gotta say, Kendra, I really, really like that one. That was a good one. Next, I got going back to the X-Men universe. Xavier Woods as Bishop. That's pretty perfect. It's pretty perfect. I kind of want that.
Who's Bishop?
You remember in X-Men 97, he was the one that was like time traveling and stuff?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
The guy with the gun. Didn't he
Yes.
just have like a gun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Xavier Woods is kind of, I mean, I know he screams like just a nerdy guy because that's just who he is.
Yeah.
That's a big motherfucker though. I think we forget how like
He's pretty jacked.
Yeah.
And I think he could like,
I think he's funny. Like I think if he needs to be funny, he can be funny.
and I think he's just strategic enough to be able to figure out like time travel and when to jump and where, because that's what he does, right? He does time travel. Didn't he raise some child? Didn't he raise
Cable? I don't think he raised him.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
No, he took him back.
Yeah.
Right? And was like,
Trying to get him some help because he was fucking sick.
yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Damn.
Now,
Sorry.
someone put Bubba Ray Dudley as Wilson Fisk. Now, I think that's interesting.
I don't see that at all.
Well, you want to hear my pick because I also cast Wilson Fisk. This might be a little on the nose. It might even be a little controversial. For Wilson Fisk, I cast the final boss, The Rock.
Oh.
Think about it.
Yeah. That does make sense.
And I'm like, listen, I'm dating myself by going back to the Daredevil film with Ben Affleck, 2003.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen, I loved Michael Clark Duncan as Wilson Fisk. The cowards at Marvel would never today. Not love you guys, but like when he fights Daredevil, he like takes off his jacket. He's this big, brawling buff son of a bitch. I'm like, come on, the final fucking boss.
That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna say Nick Aldis. And I'm like,
yeah, well, hey,
he
hang on
commands
a second.
a certain level of respect.
But Nick Aldis as a Magneto maybe, but no.
Yeah, Nick Aldis, Magneto, Adam Pierce, Xavier.
He wishes he was an Xavier.
I mean, if we're
he doesn't do well.
He's bald.
He's bald. No, but I think this final boss, The Rock, as Wilson Fisk.
That's a good Fisk. Or hang on.
Let her cook.
Maybe if he grew 2 feet, Paul Heyman as Wilson Fisk. Maybe if he grew 2 feet and like.
Now, if we were casting DC,
the Penguin.
Say Paul Heyman
Obviously.
as the fucking Penguin.
Obviously, that one's like.
we only have a couple more, and there's some I'm really excited about. Seth Rollins as the Green Goblin. Now, this is interesting.
Huh.
Because I could see him as a Green Goblin, but do I see him as a Norman Osborn?
Well, didn't the son Osborn become Green Goblin?
Some people call him the New Goblin. Some people call him the Hobgoblin.
Was he green?
He's like yellow.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't see Seth Rollins as a Norman Osborn.
That's the thing, but he could be maybe like a tech bro Norman Osborn.
Okay, like a new take on a Norman.
But it's just hard.
I don't know
think.
I like Green Goblin.
Yeah, I don't know.
For Seth Rollins.
Now again, if this were DC, I could see him as a Joker.
Well, yeah, that's like
kind of his whole thing for a minute.
Maybe like a.
Right, it's kind of hard to put him somewhere.
Hard, because he's like, I don't know. There's been a lot of different versions of him. I feel like if we're going off like, because he do be laughing, right? Oh man, that one's he's a hard person to put into a.
We're gonna have to revisit.
Who's
Seth.
turning looks?
Huh?
Dazzler holds one. We redo Dazzler, and it's a male star.
Dazzle him. Now this one, I'm gonna put my last one in, and then we'll talk about this last one here.
Okay.
I put Roxanne Perez as Araña or Spider Girl.
Okay. Yeah.
kind of a semi-high flyer.
Yeah.
Right? Latina. So, I don't know. I just think that was
Latino.
I just think that was an easy entry.
That's a good one.
I saw someone had put, I didn't list it here, but I do remember in the comment section, someone mentioned Tiffany Stratton as Spider-Gwen. I thought that was interesting.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because Spider-Gwen, at least from what I know, which is only from this book, it's a Spider-Gwen book, and the Spider-Verse movies. She's kind of like punk.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I see that.
See, maybe her as a Dazzler. I don't know if she'd be doing a sing, but now this is, I think, might be my favorite, other than The Rock as Wilson Fisk, which I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. But Damian Priest, someone cast him in 2 roles. They said either Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara. I think my favorite casting decision is Damian Priest as the Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Now, Damian Priest was almost in Black Panther Wakanda Forever as one of the... Atuma, I think.
Yeah,
one of the...
Atlanteans.
Yes.
Is that right?
Talokans.
I need to rewatch that film.
That was a good movie.
It makes me incredibly sad.
Yeah, but just like Seth Rollins was almost in Captain America Brave New World. But Damian Priest as the Ghost Rider.
That's good.
That's really fucking good.
That's really good.
So Marvel Studios, like, let's talk shop, and also put me in it. I don't have to be there a lot.
Okay.
But just,
As who? Who do you cast yourself as?
I could be a fucking person in a diner. I don't care.
I'm waiter number 2.
But I just want to be.
You're one of the NPCs.
Yeah.
This is fun. I feel
cool bike, man.
I think this is really fun, and I feel like we could just have a segment of every episode that is further.
And we might have to.
We
might revisit this.
There's so much potential. Like Jean Grey, Becky Lynch, Cyclops, Seth Rollins. Hang on
a second.
It would have to be like a toned down Seth Rollins, because Cyclops is, as we all know, fucking boring.
Well, here's the thing. Speaking of that, I could see maybe a Cody Rhodes as a Cyclops.
Yeah.
Cyclops Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes as like Captain America is so obvious.
I think maybe a Cyclops.
But maybe a Cyclops. A rule-following fucking loser that nobody likes.
You know what? I don't hate the idea of him as Cyclops, actually. That's pretty good.
A ginger Cody Rhodes. Can you imagine that?
Ginger?
Cyclops isn't ginger?
No.
Oh.
Anyway, but yeah, so let us know. Let's keep this going.
Yeah,
who could you see? What WWE superstars could you see in the MCU? All right, so we're gonna wrap up this episode by just touching on the absolute craziness of the Elimination Chamber. So it was a fantastic PLE. We got a lot of really great matches. Both the chamber matches were awesome. The women really showed the fuck out. As we knew they would, as we predicted. Mm-hmm. But of course, the big talk of the night was that, The Rock, the final boss, was prepared to, eat Cody Rhodes' soul.
Or whatever.
And he was going to give him the world. I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Mm-hmm. And Cody Rhodes, in a absolutely disgraceful display of just division in our country, an abysmal representation while we were guests in Canada, told The Rock, a man of color, that he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, he did say that.
No, so then not The Rock, Cody Rhodes and John Cena hug it out. And John Cena does the unthinkable. We find out that John Cena has aligned with The Rock, has this mega heel turn. And it's so crazy. And I've talked about it online. Everyone's talking about it. They've talked about it in the news. About John Cena, who's just been this face for 20 plus years, turning heel. And we didn't get to watch it live. But when we did watch it, it's just such like... what a cool moment to like be living through right
Yeah.
now. Maybe not in the rest of the world, but for this one little thing we're into, how fucking crazy is that?
Yeah. And I feel like it was so much more impactful for you because, like, for a lot of those 20 years that John Cena was a face, you were there watching him.
Yeah.
And then, so I didn't have that much context, but like I knew for the past few years that I've been watching, like, he's the good guy.
Yeah. Like, you know, in the very real world we live in, he holds the record for over 650 Make-A-Wish wishes fulfilled.
Yeah.
You know, like, he is like the face of WWE. Like, kids who were not even thought of when he was in the WWE, when he first joined the WWE 25 or whatever years ago.
This is all
they're
ever
still
known.
Dressing up like him.
Yeah.
Like, they love John Cena. So to see that, and the kids also love Cody Rhodes. So to see that happen, I'm like, damn, this is like equivalent to their, Hulk Hogan. I hate to compare John Cena to Hulk Hogan, but no. This is just like Hulk Hogan being, revealed as the third man in the NWO, and where people were just losing their fucking minds. But it's also, I don't know, WrestleMania, I know some people were starting to complain about, oh, this build up to Mania is like not really like hitting the same way and blah, blah, blah. Because last year we had all the craziness of The Rock showing up and, Cody Rhodes winning the Rumble, but then giving up the main event at the Rumble. And it became a whole thing, right? The We Want Cody movement. So we had a lot of like, what's real, what's not. But now just kind of being in this world, just immersed in it for the unthinkable time. We were on pre-preview. We were talking about, is Cody going to turn heel, or is this going to happen? This going to happen. Logan Paul's going to win.
Yeah, is someone else going to turn heel in his place? Blah, blah, blah. But we didn't. It wasn't even considered.
Never even an idea that John Cena would be the one to go heel and team up with The Rock.
Yeah.
So it's just such an exciting time.
Yeah.
To be a fan of WWE right now. And then, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's also crazy because this is like famously his farewell tour. So for his last year, he's going to be a heel.
I love that. I love that for him so much.
It's probably so fun.
And then the unpredictability train just kept rolling on Monday night with Io Sky winning, defeating Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Again, on pre-preview, I even mentioned, I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for the match, but are they really going to have Rhea Ripley lose?
And we were like, no.
And I ate my fucking words. We're beyond happy that, and I love Rhea, don't get me wrong.
Love Rhea, but Io Sky is one of, if not the most talented wrestler, not woman, wrestler
in the WWE.
In the WWE right now.
Yeah.
And she was snubbed multiple times, and she needed a win.
Yeah. And I think story-wise, it makes perfect sense. And I don't know what that means for the road to WrestleMania. I love when that happens. I love when we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who defends predictability. I'm like, just because something's predictable doesn't mean it can't be good. We can watch the fast lanes of the world and predict every match correctly. It doesn't mean it can't be a good show.
Right.
With that said, I'm all for all this happening. I hope Travis Scott is there more. I never thought I'd say that.
I hope he's not.
Travis Scott allegedly being the reason why Cody Rhodes' face looks all fucked up is so fucking funny to me.
I don't understand why he was there in the first place. Why is he part of this faction?
I don't know.
So bizarre.
So it's just crazy that Travis Scott, someone who was never affiliated with WWE before this year, is at least not that I know of, is all of a sudden part of one of the most historic moments in WWE history, at least in modern history, and was called out in the promo immediately following by Cody Rhodes. It's just what a crazy time. Crazy time. And then we got other fun stuff happening. The Naomi Bianca Jade thing was I thought one of the highlights of SmackDown last night.
I think it was one of the highlights of Elimination Chamber, and then another highlight on SmackDown. But yeah, first of all, I think I said it on pre-preview before Elimination Chamber. I'm like, we need to figure out what the fuck's going on with that before it gets boring.
Right.
They were like, watch this, bitch. crazy. And even part of what I love about the WWE universe is that like they're conspiracy theorists at their core, which is fun sometimes and sometimes it's not. But seeing people go back and being like, oh, well, Bianca took her jacket off when Jade came out. Like, she knew something was going to happen. She must be in on it. It was both of them. It was just Bianca. Jade was set up. Like, I loved that. So having the resolution finally on SmackDown yesterday. And I love how they played it. How it's not like, Jade wasn't like, I'm jealous of her success or anything like that. Jade was like, I'm protecting you, Bianca.
Right.
You were being held back.
No, Naomi was saying this.
Yeah, Naomi. Sorry. I just love how they played it. And both of them, Naomi and Bianca, the acting ability was insane. Like, it was so emotional. And I love that they didn't like have Jade or have Naomi attack Jade because like she was new and jealous or she took away an opportunity. No, it was like, I did this for my friend.
Right. A justified villain.
Justified.
Yeah, Naomi truly was like, yeah, I've got a movie coming out this weekend. I'm gonna show you why I got the role.
Yeah.
And she's like, you see these tears? That's act. They're real acting.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the way that they're playing it and interested to see what happens in the future. I don't think we're gonna get Bianca and Jade together again.
No. I'm curious what that means if that's a WrestleMania match, if it's a SmackDown before WrestleMania match, Naomi and Jade. But all that to say, I love that we have a women's storyline that we are giving not only screen time to, but just like gratifying like momentum and movement on. Like you, it wasn't just like we're gonna give them a small moment. There's going to be like, I hate this term, cat fight,
right?
Bullshit.
And then we'll address it again in a backstage 2-minute fucking interlude.
No, you gave them TV time. They made the most out of it. And it's genuinely like interesting. And yeah, I want to see where it goes. Because again, Bianca is totally, her attention is split, right? So I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah. So just Elimination Chamber really is becoming like kind of the perfect midway point between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania to like use as a point to make shit pop off. So Anyway, but yeah, John Cena, I don't know. I hope we get that new theme song. I would love to see a faction of some sort, this new version of the corporation.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
And it's, I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if we saw a couple other big stars join this faction, turn heel. The Rock's giving them what they want. So we'll fucking see. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Elimination Chamber. And I'm really into this. We haven't even seen him since, but I'm really into this heel Cena thing we're going to get moving forward. I
agree. I think it's really fun. And that's what wrestling's supposed to be.
And that's what wrestling is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're not already, please follow us on all the various social medias to be notified when we go live on anything. We have a stream we do most every month called Pre-Preview, where we talk all things WWE, that PLE that's happening, and we make predictions and chat with the people.
With the you.
Yeah, you, actually. But yeah, make sure you're following us wherever you're listening to this podcast. We're on all the major streamers as well as YouTube. So follow, subscribe, all that jazz. Yeah. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. So we will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Peace.